What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a great night. I've just been sitting at my computer desk, and to be honest, I haven't done many solo live streams since I started on YouTube. And most of the time because I like randomly talking to people. So I hope some folks join the chat for us today. I see Jagron 2 out there. Lane, good to see you. Hello, Movie Cannon. Geo, good to see you. Obviously, I'm popping on because Hono dropped a bomb on us today. I was shocked to see on my Facebook a Hono stormtrooper from Rebels, of all things, Rebels the animated series, which, to be honest, I was like, didn't see that coming. Not gonna lie. I think it's cool that they're doing it. Let's pull it up. I mean, this looks pretty freaking cool. It's interesting because when I first saw it, I was like, man, it looks like like you could almost have it as a background character, like a low render, background version of stormtroopers if you wanted to army build, right? You could get the whole thing going that way. On the other hand, it just looks like a freaking slippery slope for almost every Star Wars fan I even know of. Rebels, especially, my buddy Eddie, Money Mendez, he just absolutely raves about Star Wars Rebels. I know it's a huge favorite for so many people. And there's so many freaking characters they could give us. It's odd to me that they're starting with this. Let's take a look through here. I mean, like, to be honest, it looks freaking good, though. I actually like the articulation that they're kind of advertising with this. It's interesting. It looks like the suit underneath, like that black material, could potentially be the same kind of material we see with, like that black symbiote Spider-Man that Zach, the Oxfather, just got. I'd be curious to see that. The blaster looks, I mean, kind of low res, but it's meant to be animated series, right? So there's nothing wrong with that by any stretch. This looks pretty freaking good. Let me swap this out so I can see who all is here. Shout out to the 4 people watching. Good to see you guys. I'm sure more people will roll in. Because I never ever do impromptu live streams like this, I wasn't expecting to see too many people this late at night, but I'm sure everybody's having a good time checking this out. Let's see here. X-Men Supreme. Dave, what's going on, buddy? Tell me your thoughts. What do you think of this figure announcement? 2 figure announcements, as well as a tease in here, let's be honest. I'm trying to get to the tease. Sorry, I'm scrolling so quickly. I want to look at that thing as well. So, okay. Oh, here. Let's check this out. So, entry grade. 1/6 scale. High quality. Highly articulated. Q4 2025, 2026. So, not far out for the most part. I'm looking at Sideshow here. I'm not seeing anything popping up there quite yet for pricing. I know earlier I was watching the Oxfather. I think the speculation there was maybe like a 165 range. But I gotta say, like, I think that would be about the most I'd want to pay. I would hope for more like a 125 to 145 range. I think if they're going to go in on these, they need to be widely available. They need to be a good price so that you can army build them if you truly want to. And the potential of characters, like I was saying kind of at the beginning there, is a little bit wild to me. That's the one criticism I actually kind of have with even the tease. Is not because I'm not excited about these, it's more about them spreading themselves a little on the thin side, it feels like. When I'm thinking about what they've already kind of put out there, we're seeing some Spider-Man, some Iron Man, Magneto was teased there. The Wolverines are awesome. But, like, we don't have a really clear direction as to where they're going yet. And now that we know that they've got Star Wars, it's also kind of like, man, there's so many freaking characters that we could get. Let me know, you guys, what you're hoping for. X-Men Supreme says Ahsoka. Yeah. I mean, can you even have Rebels figures without Ahsoka, right? I mean, I don't know, seems pretty legit. Deadpool Talk says, I just got Hono Studios brown suit Wolverine, and it's absolutely incredible. I got it for 120 euros on eBay. So cheap. Yeah, what do you guys think? What do you think on pricing for this one? And what is your hope versus what do you think could be the case? Again, I think it has to be in the 125 to 140 max in order to justify pumping up the line. Now, again, like I was saying, if they've spread themselves a little thin as well, are you guys feeling excited just about the fact that they have this line? I was kind of envisioning this being more of a comic book inspired studio, right? The Hono studio. So far, it's been mostly comic book inspired. They did take that Disney Plus show, the Spider-Man show, and put that into action as well. So I mean, it's animated / comic book style, but it's not a comic book specifically. I do think the price points are creeping up. Deadpool Talks mentions that here as well. Higher and higher, which is a worry. I agree. The next slide, let me slide over here, guys. Sorry, I get stuck on the slides here. I mean, it does look freaking awesome. It does look really cool. Capable of dynamic posing. Here, this is what I was wanting to bring up. Now, this looks still like an animated render, especially on my full screen. I thought at first it looked like a figure, but it says prepare for his arrival. So, I mean, if they're going to do a Darth Vader, I think they got to do a Thrawn, right? Ezra Bridger for sure. Ahsoka for sure. But then it's like, do you do all of the Rebels then? And how long will we be waiting for, right? I mean, Hono's now been on the scene for, I think, geez, about, what, a year and a half? And we don't have a completed, really, direction on any of these quite yet. You know, when they first announced that Wolverine back in the day, I was hoping they were just going to go hard in on the X-Men line and just, you know, give us a full X-Men line. Show us what you can do. And if you do that, then sure, jump to other IPs. But on the other hand, not everybody's an X-Men fan, right? A lot of people love Iron Man. A lot of people love their Spider-Man. And of course, a lot of people have nostalgia now, especially for Rebels, Clone Wars. Yeah, like, think about how much money people have spent already, including, I'm sure, some of you guys watching, on just the clone lines, right? The clone lines themselves in Hot Toys form are wildly... I was going to say wildly priced. Not wildly priced. They're not terribly priced, but they're wildly available. Like, you can get so many different variants. And I mean, I think if the price is right, I could see, you know, a collection having really an animated style or comic inspired collection, section of their section of their rooms and theater rooms and stuff. I think it's pretty cool. I mean, I am a huge Batman the Animated Series fan, as you guys know, so I would love to see Batman the Animated Series. So many characters from them that Mando has given us. I haven't loved Mando with the joints and honestly even their price points, considering they're just all plastic. I would love to see what Hono could do with a Batman line. I mean, really, could they get any DC line going? Especially now, you know, Star Wars, Marvel, DC, they're kind of the big three, right? But it also kind of makes me wonder, you know, if they were able to get an animated series figure line set up like Rebels, can they even do some of our other favorite animated shows from our past as well? Like, you know, you think about all of the figures and toys that NECA gives us and small scale, 7-inch scale figures that exist. And I mean, there's hundreds and hundreds of cool characters in an animated form that you could turn into some really wonderful Hono releases. Sorry guys, I smoked a pretty big joint before this stream. And so I am raspy. Love to see it. Let's see here. Maul from X-Men Supreme, 100%. Curtis Booth, good to see you, buddy. Fellow Canadian. An old Captain Rex would be sick. 100%. Deadpool Talk says, I know this is not a topic, but what do you think of the chances that Hot Toys gets a license for God of War or The Last of Us? I'd love a Kratos, Joel, Ellie, Clicker. Yeah, man. Me too, honestly. The chances that Hot Toys gets it, I honestly think if they wanted it, they would have already tried to pursue it. You know, Limb Toys is doing a really, really great job with the Nathan Drake figure that just came out. And while their wait times are a little bit long, it does sound like they are looking at putting up a pre-order for Joel and Ellie, at least from my recollection. So, I mean, they're still a great option. A little pricey for sure, and sometimes a bit hard to get. But yeah, that Nathan Drake was fantastic. And then, yeah, Joel and Ellie. Who else did you say here? Oh, Kratos. I mean, there's been a couple Kratoses that have come out, but none to me feel like 100% the version that I'm looking for. But for me, it's hard with Kratos because, like, I've been playing God of War since God of War 1, so I loved Kratos, like how deadly he was in version 1 and version 2, or game 1 and game 2, I should say. And then, you know, as the newer games have come out, he is much older and grizzled and beefier, and I like that version of him as well. But I mean, Kratos is a badass. I'd get him in any form, but I don't think Hot Toys is going to get it. I think if they were going to, I think that they probably would have already. Sorry, guys. Let me flip the picture here. Hard to multitask while I read the chat, talk to you guys. What other Star Wars characters are you guys hoping to see there in the chat? Or honestly, even other comic-inspired lines at this point? Like, I feel like the floodgate is just completely open. This guy's pretty cool. I like the pauldron on the top there, the orange. That's crispy. That's real nice. The green lenses still and everything. Interesting with the Darth Vader too. Like, I wonder, in order to keep the price point down, are they going to be able to like illuminate the figure like the Hot Toys ones have? You know, with like a lit up chest or even a lit up saber. Would collectors even want that if they're trying to stay in kind of that lower tier price point? Would you care about lit up accessories at all? I mean, that the Iron Man that they did. What Iron Man was that? Like comic inspired Iron Man. Pretty cool figure, lit up, and it came in at $215, and people were losing their minds for $215 because again, X-Men started it at that $165 price point, right? So, Sip Hint says, "Will there be a Darkside Anakin 2.0? Definitely would be my first Hot Toys figure." I would not be surprised if they gave us a 2.0 of that. I almost don't want to put that bad like juju out in the world because I know a lot of collectors paid top dollar to get their Darkside Anakin in the first time. Having said that, what I've found in collecting over the years of doing it, I've been doing this now 15 years, they always come back around. There's always going to be a 2.0. There's always going to be a 3.0. If they were the top selling figures of their time or still are, Hot Toys wants a piece of their pie. They don't want secondary resellers to get that money. It's why I'm feeling very certain that we'll see Punisher, feeling very certain that we'll see Daredevil again, because I mean, those figures even, like I've got the 1.0s of those, and man, they still go for pretty wild pricing. D-Lo the Collector, good to see you, buddy, here. He says, this figure reminds me of the Stormtrooper doll Jyn Erso had in Rogue One. Yeah, it does. That's a great call, man. That is a great call. That's what I was saying earlier. It's almost like a low-res version of the Stormtrooper. You could put him in the back and army build the shit out of him and just have that forced perspective. It could still look pretty cool, but you know what? I think it's a well-made looking figure. You got to give it credit. I just wish they would update the price for these because I think that's going to be the piece of the pie that really tips collectors on this, right? You know, Magneto was $175, Wolverine unmasked version, sleeveless, but seamless arms and everything, $175, $175 for symbiote suit, $215 Iron Man. Yeah, I mean, like they're all still pretty well priced, but Dilo, what do you think? What's the price going to be on this if you're still watching? What do you think the price on these guys is going to come in at? And to the 17 folks watching, thanks for coming out and just hanging out with me low tier tonight. As I said, first time I've done this, just chilling with you guys and reading the chat and looking at the figures. Normally I do my pre-edited videos, but they take a long time to make. They take a long time to make. I just didn't have it in me tonight, guys. Just didn't have it in me. But I'm happy to have you guys here. X-Men says these guys will be 175 and that Vader will be 210. Oh my god. If that Vader is 210, people are gonna lose their minds. People are losing their minds. Joker thing. TIE Pilot was 245 last week, so this will be 246 naturally. 100%. You're not wrong. The only downfall there, of course, and I know you're kidding, buddy, but if these creep in to the Hot Toys price point, which they're already getting within like $30 of that, let's be honest, then I don't think you can call them entry grade anymore. I just don't think that that's a fair allowance to give anymore. I think it's like, you know, there should be like, maybe there should be tiers of Hono, right? Maybe there should be entry grade, which is stripped down, virtually no accessories, no light ups, all plastic, you know, basic paint jobs, and they should stay in that 165 range. And maybe there should be slightly more premium options, but again, then you get into this territory of potentially multiple SKUs. Multiple SKUs tend to sit often, so not the greatest thing for collectors or for distributors. I think if they overcomplicate it, it'll confuse people and piss people off, and they'll stop buying it anyways, or they'll say, well, I'll just buy the Hot Toys one for the $30 more. I think for these specifically, though, I mean, obviously there are some fans or heavy fans of just Rebels specifically, right? And so there are some folks out there who might not even own other Hot Toys troopers, but would still buy this for their love and affection for those animated series. Because that's the way I feel about Batman the Animated Series. Like I said earlier, if they gave us that and it was good and dialed in, the price was right, man, I would buy most of them. Like, up, if you guys can see up here, I have the 7-inch versions of all the Batman the Animated Series. I freaking love those figures, dude. They're awesome. They are great collectibles. But they're still like the Mondos, right? They're jointed and they're plastic and painted, and they have painting chipping issues and all of the things. So I think Hono could still do it better. I think there's room for improvement. And I know guys like Jazz Inc., Yost over there, he's looking at doing a Batman the Animated Series as well. But I hate to say it, like, I don't want to pay necessarily Jazz Inc. prices. To be fair, I don't know how he's going to price it. He could do it very competitively, so let's hope for the best. But with how many animated series figures there are just in all of these platforms, we can't be paying much more than we already are. The paint applications look pretty solid as well. I mean, there even looks like there's an element of cell shading there, or it's just really good strategic lighting, but yeah, this is cool. Yeah, see, on the belt in this rendering, it's lit up in the green sections. But as I said, in order to light Vader, it's going to have to be significantly more. Curtis Booth says, I wonder if the pauldron will be compatible with Hot Toys Stormtroopers. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe. It's hard to say. I would think as an animated representation of the character, the body will probably be a little more shrunken down. Like, you see this Vader, again, render, but he looks like he's going to be way skinnier than a normal, like a normal Vader up in the collection. But could be wrong. You know, I have been wrong before, like video game series figures, for example. I find that their scale is often a little wonky when it comes to comparing them to like movie realistic figures. When I first got the Batman, was it the Batman Begins? No, sorry. Batman Beyond figure from the game Arkham Knight. That thing was an amazing figure, but at the time, this is a couple years ago, this is before I was in YouTube and looking at, you know, pricing and everything and reading every description religiously. I didn't realize how tall that freaking guy was until I brought him into my collection. This is the Batman Beyond figure. I put him next to my Christian Bale DX12 Batman, which is notoriously already kind of a small Batman. And man, he just freaking dwarfed him. Like the Bale Batman literally came up to like here on that figure, and it took me out of it. I ended up actually selling that figure because it felt too large. So, point of that being, if video game figures can be too large, then there is, I guess, no necessarily great assumption that it could be too small. But I mean, we could find out. Should I buy the new battle damage Vader or just wait for maybe the Anakin 2.0? Kind of scared. It will never happen though. Then I miss out on the Vader as well. The battle damage version being the one that has the split mask and the Anakin face poking out, or the one that's like more comic inspired, like really battle damaged one that's gone up for pre-order. Let me know which one you're referring to. I think it really depends. You know, obviously it's what speaks to you most in your collection. Is there a hole in your collection that you're trying to fill? Do you need a Vader more than an Anakin, or vice versa? Obviously, they're the same character under the mask, but is there a representation you like more? Is there something that's more nostalgic for you? Is there a film scene or a TV scene that you watch over and over and over again because that's your favorite scene and that's what you want to recreate in your display? It's all the calculus I typically go through when I'm, you know, looking at these figures, and most of the time trying to talk myself out of them, like I'm sure you guys are. I think it's part of the reason we watch these live streams and these shows, these figure previews and stuff, is not as much even just to talk ourselves into it, but sometimes to talk ourselves out of it. I'm definitely guilty of that myself. It's actually how I got started watching YouTube and wanted to be part of the Collecting Weekly show and all of that. Was when I started in YouTube, I didn't know anybody that collected Hot Toys. I was the only person. I kept my DX12 Batman in the box in the closet when people would come over, because I didn't know how I'd explain a $300 awesome ass figure, other than the fact that it's badass and I like it, and I don't care what people think anymore. Especially, but back then, you don't know anybody, and then obviously when people say there's a community, that's what I am here for, and that is what I like about doing this with you guys. Mitchell Lawrence says, these are cool, but I ain't paying more than 150 euros for this. I wonder what's 150 euros to Canadian. Sorry guys, just curious No, I definitely did that wrong. I said 15 euros. That's going to be... I'm not paying more than 15 euros for this bad boy. 234 Canadian? Yeah, man. If this is any more than that, I 100% agree. I think it's overpriced. 100%. Let's see. I am excited to talk more this week about that Mr. Freeze as well. Let me know, guys, in the chat, who here is getting a Mr. Freeze. I'd be curious. Because to be honest, I immediately pre-ordered it, and I don't normally day one pre-order figures. Now, I got the standard version of it, because I don't think I need the wings. I don't think I'll actually ever use them. But the fact that it's USB powered, I think is pretty freaking sweet. It's Arnie, which is also sweet. And what wasn't sweet was that price point. My God. In Canadian dollars, it was like wildly priced. It was wild. Let me put up a poll for you guys here. Give me 1 second. Let's see here. I'm going to set up a poll. I'm curious how many of you folks here are getting this one. Hono buy figures. Cool. I'm setting up a poll for you guys. Base level poll, because I didn't want to lose people while I'm sitting here staring at it. Oh, let's check this out. Sin, cool display picture, says, "Hey Ben, did you see the Nacelle Company's upcoming Star Trek line?" I have not. Freaking love Star Trek. Let's take a look. I'll peek at that here in a little bit. What scale is it? Let me know what scale it is, Sin. I'll definitely take a peek. Star Trek is definitely a love of mine as well, as you guys know. Mr. Freeze is actually very cool, to be honest. One of the worst Batman films ever made, but it's sick. Yeah, you know, it's funny. Like, it's amazing how nostalgia will get you. Oh, 7-inch. Okay, I'll check that out. Thanks for the heads up, man. If it's cool, I'll do a video on it as well. I've done 7-inch scale Star Trek videos before in the past. I've got like a Star Trek playlist if you haven't seen it on the channel. It's lots of stuff in there from way back. Some of my old videos where I'm sitting in a dark basement just talking to the screen. But yeah, the love of the Trek comes through. But yeah, in terms of the, you know, Batman and Robin film, not a great film. It's amazing what nostalgia will do. I will say, though, I used to watch them all the time when I was a kid, right? I mean, you know, back then, the Joel Schumacher style of Batman didn't seem too egregious. It, like, while it is campy when you're, you know, 10 years old or maybe a little bit older than that, at times, like, you know, it is what it is. It's kind of fun, you know? And, like, I still loved Poison Ivy. I mean, Uma Thurman in that was freaking fantastic. The Bane was just not Bane at all. It's like, not from the comics, not from, like, just a horrible version of Bane. But the collector side of me would still put him in the basket if Hot Toys made one. Especially, again, if the price was decent. Can you imagine a seamless body on that Bane with the green veins and shit? That would be pretty wild. So, Mitchell Lawrence says, will this Vader be pleather? I mean, I think it would almost have to be in order to be super cheap or fully material. Like when you look at this up close on this rendering photo, it almost looks like material to me all the way through. Now, I'm not as big of a Rebels fan as I am other animated series out there, so you guys can tell me maybe in the actual show it looks more leather. If you don't mind verifying that for me, that would be helpful. But Curtis says, Freeze is sick, but I'd much rather the Penguin, Two-Face, or Riddler. I mean, 100%, but I'd say this, like, potentially opens up the door for it. I would imagine, you know, Arnie's getting up there in age, and he's awesome. But when he's seeing his buddies out there, like Sylvester Stallone, putting his own figure line out, and, you know, even Harrison Ford's getting figures made of him and making some family money before he's too old to retire, or getting to the point of retiring. Why wouldn't you want in on some of that at this point? And clearly Hot Toys is redoing the Terminators. I don't think the sculpt is the same. I've seen some speculation that it's the same. I don't think it is. I think he looks a little different in both. But I also, for some reason, think that characters that are painted blue look better in figure format for some reason. Of all things, you know, right? Thrawn. what's his name for Guardians of the Galaxy? Can't remember now off the cuff, but yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. It's pretty cool. I think it opens up the door. Although Mars Toys has done a great job. I know Mars Toys is coming out with their Two-Face as well. I've got the Riddler behind me. The likeness to that Jim Carrey is not amazing. It's not perfect. But like honestly, in the green leotard outfit that he's got, I've got him standing behind the Robin figure with like the brain drain on his head, and it looks cool. I do like it a lot, but. You can tell he's one of the third-party figures in the collection, you know, when you look around, especially. So, right in behind me, I don't know if you guys can see it. I've got Agent Smith is a third-party figure, posed up with Neo. You can't see shit. Sorry, guys. Let's see. I've got it posed up here, so he's like, you know, the iconic bullet dodging scene. But I just got the John Wick figure in, and I was trying to figure out what square I would put him in because I'm running out of space. Like, you know, at one point I had 1 figure per square. Now I'm kind of getting up to 2. Some boxes have 3, like my Star Trek Next Generation line's got 3 and 2 squares. I'm like, where could I put the John Wick? And I almost put him in the same place as the Agent Smith, shooting at himself essentially. John Wick shooting at Neo. What kind of a movie would that be? Who would win? In that fight? I would have to imagine Neo would win in that fight, but let's see here. What are you guys saying? What's happening with the unmasked Deadpool that Ryan Reynolds teased? You reckon that lawsuit is making Hot Toys hold back? I wonder. I don't think so. I don't think so. I think if lawsuits held Hot Toys back from making figures, I don't think we would have seen the Kang figure, because that was pretty controversial at the time, as that was still kind of in a stage, I would imagine, in which they could have said, you know what, we're cutting ties, we're cutting the cord. I think maybe, I shouldn't say demand, because I just think the timing was bad for that one, to be honest. I think they saw the reaction. I think they saw it piss people off. Because I felt frustrated. I just got the other Deadpool in hand, and while that's a great figure, I think most of us that got that Deadpool were kind of like, why'd they give us this one? Why were these the accessories that came with it? Why didn't we get a head sculpt? Why did we get baby pool? Why did we get dog pool? Like, why did we get the golden guns with this one, and then they better not give us golden guns with another one? And like, you know, and then them teasing that figure, it made us all collectively go, well, some of us would get both. Most of us want really kind of one definitive one, and I think for the most part, especially if you still had the Deadpool 2 figure, you might have still been happy enough with that one to have kind of the suited up version, and then a badass battle damage Deadpool like he teased with a head sculpt. So I think they would have canceled it. Yeah, Curtis Booth says Johnny Depp's figure as well. Now, I mean, that trial went his way, but yeah, I don't know. I think we'll still actually see that Deadpool. I think it's just kicked down a ways. Because they still haven't shown us Elektra, even from that Deadpool and Wolverine film. They haven't shown us Gambit yet. Yeah, Jose Plus says, it's Yondu. Yes, thank you, good sir. That dude from Guardians who's blue. You know who I'm talking about. Don't worry about it. You know, that guy. For sure. Yeah, I think we'll still see it. If there's those Rebels lines that were teased that we haven't even got the full Rebels team yet, they're clearly not necessarily done with that film. But I feel like they better get their ass in gear a little bit, though, right? Because that was actually one comment that I did see pop up quite a bit when I was talking about the Freeze release last week there. Was, well, where the hell else is this figure? Where the hell is this figure? I'm waiting on this one, or I'm waiting on that one. Collector Joey in the chat, good friend of the channel here as well. He says, hello, good sirs. Collector Joey, if you don't already follow him, if you follow, you're under a Hot Toys rock out there and you don't know who Collector Joey is. Go follow him, because he posts on Instagram these amazing posts that like filter out all of the figures that are incoming, or potentially incoming, speculated for incoming, and characters that are set to release in that month that you're in, and they're extremely helpful for all of us collectors as well as YouTubers. Let's be honest, because every time we see that, we all steal a screenshot and post it on our next live show. So thank you, Joey, for putting in the freaking time and work that must take. That's insane. But point of that being, Mr. Freeze wasn't in any of those projections necessarily. He wasn't teased really before by anybody. And what was set to release, there's still a few things that are now kind of getting to that point of being delayed that people are like collectively like, where the hell is my figure? And so, yeah, interesting to see that reaction. I think there will always be that reaction in Hot Toys news, though, right? Whenever good news comes out, I think there's always something else that most people want, and you know they're willing to shit on it. Batman and Robin is just not like, I shouldn't say it's not a fun movie. It's a stupidly fun movie. It's just a bad movie. So, like, is what it is, right? So we have 30 people watching live. I did not expect to see 30 folks here tonight, guys. So thank you so much for being here. If you're just joining us now, if you don't mind, hit the like button. It would be cool to see these little impromptu streams, you know, pop off. Normally I do Let's Get Nuts, as you guys know, on Sundays. Let me know if you guys think that there's a creative name I can use for these types of quick streams, right? I called it Nutty today, but I'm not necessarily stuck to that. Just because I said, you know, tough nut to swallow one time. I didn't realize it was going to become my entire freaking identity. So thank you all to you who have made that a thing. But yeah, I didn't. Yeah, you guys are even all nut badges in the chat now. You love to see it. So Mike Latoris in the chat says, I need all the Rebs. Absolutely. Who was the one? Oh, damn it. Now I'm blanking on the guy's name too. The big dude from Rebels. Why am I? The big alien guy. What the hell is his name now? I want to say it starts with a... Yeah, Zeb. Zeb. How have we not got a Hot Toys Zeb? He's such a cool freaking character. I even really liked him in... like the Rebels, like the animated show that I watched it in, like the first couple of episodes even. I'm like, he's a pretty big character. How was he not like shown or like really like featured as a character in the Rebels Disney universe? Like, I know we've seen him in the background, right at the bar. I think, was that in Mando or was that in Boba Fett? I don't remember exactly, but I remember seeing him teased, and then he just wasn't in Rebels. Like, made no freaking sense to me. But he'd be cool. He'd be also really cool in the animated. The quick nut stream. I didn't know if anybody was going to show up if I called this a quick nut. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if anybody was actually going to pop in, but yeah, you never know. Could be surprised. Who's not down for a quick nut when it comes to Hono figures? We're all going to be pissed and not happy if this thing comes in at $200. But Tijuana Mike, aka King Chiro, channel member, says, "Good evening, collectors. Good to see you, buddy." For those of you who just joined, let me know what Star Wars character you hope to see most, anyways, from the Rebels line, or honestly, just animated Star Wars now, right? As I said, we said earlier, Thrawn, I think needs to be made. I Vader, if it's teased here, I got to imagine they're going to put it up. I wonder how far out that could even be. I put up the poll there earlier, 11 minutes ago, with 11 votes of the 30 people here. Buy Hono figures was 45%. No was 36%, and only one of them was 18%. So, I mean, totally fair. Totally fair. Let's see here. Instanut. You guys are wild. Renz Tolentino, love to see it. Good to see you here, my friend. I appreciate you being here, popping in. I've got a Renz Tolentino art piece in my laundry room. And it's my favorite thing to look at when I'm folding towels. It's a beautiful photo. Beautiful photo. It's Wednesday Addams, actually. Or Jenna Ortega. Freaking amazing. So go check out Renz if, again, there's anybody watching at the moment who's never heard of you, good sir. I know everybody's voting for you to change your last name. I like Tolentino. I think you should keep it. Talented Tino makes sense, but I see it. Jose Plus says, Zeb is going to be in the Mando movie, so hopefully we get one for the movie. That would be cool. Are you guys feeling excited for the Mando movie? Let me know. I feel like season 3 lost it for me just a little bit. I wanted to like it more. There were some episodes that I thought were okay, but like when you think about how season 2 cliffhangered, right? Like seeing Luke show up in the X-Wing and save the day, tearing through those dark troopers. I mean, it was wild. It was a wild scene. I don't know about you guys. I had tears in my eyes seeing Luke make that powerful of a return again at the end of season 2. So when we went into season 3 of Mando, I was like so hyped for it. And then I don't know, it didn't hit for me. I don't know if it took too long or if the episodes just weren't as good, but so it's lost my luster for the film, is my point. I'm not as excited for it. With Kathleen Kennedy being taken out, it'll be interesting to see if they make more of a return to Star Wars films versus shows. I would like to see that more. I think Star Wars on the big screen is often where it shines, which is funny when we're looking at this figure, because, like, I mean, let's be honest, this is a small screen a release, right? I mean, Rebels was a freaking awesome cartoon. And I like, so I was able to get through all of Rebels and really enjoy it. I still haven't got through all of Clone Wars yet. I just got to the 3rd season. Everybody keeps telling me to push through it. But the first 2 seasons I found to be a difficult watch, whereas I crushed through Rebels. So I don't know if Rebels was meant to be a more like adult children brand or adult. I don't know, like young adult. Is that a thing? Was it meant for adults? Like, I don't even know, but it seemed more mature anyways than Clone Wars did. But then I've heard that Clone Wars also gets pretty wild later seasons. So I don't know. Let me know if I should stick with it. But like I said, some of the time I come on these streams and watch these figure reviews just to try and talk myself out of it, as I think we all do. So interesting to see here. Let's see. Let's refresh the page one more time to see if the pricing has gone up. No pricing quite yet. Who's in on the Spider-Man release, by the way? The homemade suit, especially now if you've watched the show. The reason I ask is, I mean, obviously I was not super stoked about the figure release, but I'd only watched the first episode of the show at the time, and now I've had a chance to binge watch the whole show, and I was like, man, that show hit. It was a way better show than I expected. I liked it quite a bit, actually, and but I still don't know if I liked that suit the most. I'd still say, like, kind of his final look is the one that I would have wanted most. But yeah, let me know if that show changed it for you guys at all. Mitchell Lawrence says, Ben, are you getting any of these stormtroopers? Hard to say. I know it sounds like a cop-out answer, but it honestly really depends on the price for me. If I can get one of these for $125, I'd buy 2, and I think that would be cool. Because I do like the concept of having an animated Star Wars universe. And I love Vader, and so if they do make a Vader, I would want that representation of Vader in the collection, especially since I really did enjoy Rebels ultimately, and having different looks for Vader I think would be cool. But then what's Vader without some troopers at his back, right? And 2 troopers kind of flanking the Vader, I think that could be cool. So it depends on the price. Sorry for the cop-out answer, but that's kind of where I'm at the moment. Pop Culture Relic says, as much as I love the Rebel series, I need to be realistic, but happy for those who want the animated versions. And you're right, dude. I mean, that's where it becomes that slippery slope. For me, I wouldn't necessarily feel the need to buy every Star Wars figure that would come out. There'd be a few that I'd go after. But like I said earlier, if they did a Batman animated series, or honestly, even just a really good DC inspired line, like a DC Comics inspired line, man, I could get crazy with that. I'm gonna have to try and figure out a different way to display. I've had the Billy bookcases with me now for a few years. I've been rejecting the idea of going to Modu cases, mostly for their costs and their wait times, but also, like, and this is no slight to anybody who has Modu cases, don't get me wrong, but I find it hard to make it look organized. I've seen a few that do it very, very well, but I've seen some that get really overstuffed. And I really like the feel of the 1 to 2 figure per square look. The downfall of that is it's just not realistic. Like, I think I just hit 70 figures yesterday with John Wick, which is about 68 more figures than I thought I'd ever own in my life, right? Like, when I got that second figure, I was like, okay, that's it. I can't be in this hobby. And 68 figures later. But again, it's at the point now where I'm at least 2 per square and then getting up to 3. So, I know that the Costa case exists. I think that's a cool option as well. But what's Mike saying here? Mike Latorra says, I need to see more, but I'm willing to go all in on Rebels. Nothing can be over $200 though. Around 160 or less is where it's at, especially for Trooper. Yeah, Mike, I was saying, man, if I'd be stoked if we could get a 125 to 140 range. especially, and have them, I hate to say it, but have them mass produced. Like, give us the ability as collectors, if they're a really sweet price point, to then army build them. Because as I said, normally I'm the type of person that only buys one character. I've never bought a rock and stock figure, right? One to rock, one to stock, never. In all the years I've been collecting, because they're high price point and I pay for these out of my own pocket. And I'm like, I don't need two of the same character. But there are characters like Stormtroopers that look good in twos. Right now I've got my Shadow Trooper and Stormtrooper, the original, like the 1.0s, standing beside each other, and they look freaking awesome together for that black and white representation. But yeah, slippery slope, dude. But make them mass produced, at least. And so, in the sense of, they're not meant to be collectible in the same way we look at Hot Toys, but they're meant to be really still wildly cool representations of things that you like in a collection or in a separate piece of your collection room, right? I think that's fair. Let's see here. 70. Oh yeah. I was like, $70. Oh my God. No. 70 figures. Yeah, it's getting to be a lot, man. And to be honest, I've been cutting some out. You guys are going to hate me for this at this point, but I sold my Tobey Maguire Spider-Man to Classy Thomas. Not because I sold it to Classy, but mostly because I didn't keep that figure. But I personally didn't love it. I didn't connect with it. The neck seams on it were brutal. It had like this, like the thread right up the front that just like, it looked like he had a little horn under his mask, and it just drove me nuts. But I think what drove me nuts about that Spider-Man most was how much I paid for it in Canadian dollars to get it here. I think it was like $520 by the time I paid conversion and fees and shipping and customs and all the things. And then I felt lackluster. And so as a result, I actually also then sold the Green Goblin figure along with it. So I don't have those guys anymore, clearing them out a little bit, trying to free up coin for other things. If you guys missed it, I don't know if you guys, not everybody here is a channel member, but last Let's Get Nuts, so not last Sunday, but the Sunday before, we did a duck race for a channel member giveaway, because we have about 40 channel members pretty consistently, and it flexes up between like 40 and 44. But we did the Xenomorph, Hot Toys Xenomorph giveaway, and one of the members by the name of the Batman won. So we'll be getting that sent out to him once it releases. I can't wait to see that figure. Big Rib says, how much money did you win in Vegas? None. I spent double the money. So to those who don't know, I was in Las Vegas last week for a fun little trip, and I brought a $1,500 budget, which is laughable now when I think about it, because I double spent that. In mostly food and alcohol, though I will be honest, I'm not a gambler. I spend enough money on things like Hot Toys that I like saving money for. We've all made the joke of like, how old is that pair of boxers, but how new is that figure box in your collection room, right? And I'm guilty of that too. Like, every time I buy anything in life, I think about how many figures I could have got for the same money. So for me, pumping money into a slot machine and just watching it disappear is just like, it's heartbreaking. And we have casinos in Canada. I feel like, for me, it's like a $20 bill is more like, I don't know, what is it, 36 or 30, or no, not 36, sorry, like 26 to 28 bucks. So it's almost like giving 30 bucks away for every 20 I put in the machine. Couldn't do it. Mitchell Lawrence says, I currently have 13. Hey, you know what? Some of my favorite times in my collection were when I had about 15 figures. It felt really dialed in at that point. I felt like I had like one really good representation of, a lot of the IPs that I really, really love in life. And then you start getting side characters and on and on and on. If you're able to hold off on doing it. What do you guys think with the Mr. Freeze? Since it's a USB functionality. I hate to put this juju out there, I hate to say it, but what do you think are the chances that we start seeing Iron Man get released as 3.0s with USB power? How frustrating would you feel like that is, and what would the cost of those be? Because while I'm excited for that feature in that Mr. Freeze, because it needs to be turned on, you can't have Mr. Freeze freaking turned off all the time. Can you imagine? You have to have it turned on. I feel like it opens up the floodgates for so many figures that need to be permanently turned on that just aren't. Or for the folks out there who've gotten the great fusion reactors and put those in their figures in order to keep them consistently on. I've never done the fusion reactors yet myself, or the lit up sabers. Like all of my figures, with the exception of, oddly enough, my Black Adam. My Black Adam is the only figure in my collection that stays lit all the time because he was close enough to a plug that I was able to run the cord out. And to be honest, it made me like that figure at least 10 times more. Like, it really freaking brought it to life. So, let's see here. Ethan says, Ben, are you going to Fan Expo? Here in Calgary, I 100% am. I'm not sure what day I'm going to go. I think maybe on the Saturday. So if anybody is local in Calgary, if you guys want to do a collector meetup, I would totally be down for that. I think that would be awesome to meet some of you guys in person. So I went last year for the very first time. I'm going to try and get in with a press pass because of the YouTube channel. I don't flex it very often. So if I can get something cool out of it, like a press pass, and see if I can get you guys some cool little extra goodies. If I can pick anything up, maybe I'll throw it into the channel membership as giveaways and stuff like that. That'd be cool. But either way, 100% I'm going. I'll let you know if it's going to be the whole weekend or not. We'll see here. They do, at the Comic Expo or Fan Expo this year in Calgary, they do have the Back to the Future cast is going to be there. And I mean, geez, like I would love a Christopher Lloyd autograph. I would love a Michael J. Fox autograph, but they're expensive. They're very expensive. Who else is going to be there? Oh, Daredevil himself. What's his name? I want to call him Matt Murdock. He's going to be there as well. Jose, where are you when I need you? But I forget what the guy's fucking name is now. Hate to see it. Big Rip says, "Hey Van, I'll be in Canada in September for a concert. Are you close to Toronto?" I unfortunately am not close to Toronto, good sir. I am in Alberta, which is on the other side of the country. So I'm closer to the west coast, about a province in, right next to the mountains, whereas Toronto is a lot further east, unfortunately. All my family's from that way. I just moved out here 10 years ago because I wanted to see what mountains were like. Honest Hansel says, "Ben, my daughter and I are going to go." Hell yeah, dude. Let's do a meetup. That would be awesome. Do a quick stream of it. Actually, Mysterio Meotics, that YouTuber, he's been on Let's Get Nuts a couple times. Jay, good guy. He also lives in Alberta. He actually bought my Catwoman off of me, my Catwoman 2.0 from The Dark Knight Rises. I got the figure, I just didn't love it. And so I sold it pretty quickly, actually, and he bought it. And that's how I met the guy, and we got talking, as collectors do sometimes, right? Which is weird, like other Facebook deals, or I don't know if you guys have this experience, but like Facebook Marketplace or Kijiji or Craigslist or wherever you guys live, you do these deals, and I'm always kind of like, I'm in and out. Like, I don't want to talk to you. I don't want to be friends with you. Like, I just, like, if the item is as described, I'll buy it and I'll leave, or vice versa. Like, I always package mine really well to make sure they know what they're buying. But when it comes to collecting, I'm much more willing to talk about the stuff. And I also had sold my Keaton Batmobile after I did the review. I did the review. I loved that thing. It was awesome, the 2.0. Don't get me wrong, but it was too big. I didn't have anywhere to put it. And I need to buy a house again at some point. So I sold that vehicle. And the dude that came to pick up the vehicle, it was his birthday. So we got talking about his birthday, and then we got talking about his favorite figures. And before I knew it, we were standing outside for like 45 minutes. I don't even think it's an exaggeration, just shooting the shit about collecting. And same with Jay. Like, we sat down in the lobbyway of my apartment building and talked about figures and showed each other the collections and everything. One point I had two young Asian dudes buy a figure from me. It was my Deadpool 2 figure. And they seemed trustworthy, and they're like, "Can we see your collection?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure." And as I was in the elevator on the way up to let them into my apartment, I was like, two dudes versus me, room full of figures, could 100% get robbed right now, and there's almost nothing that I can do about it. Because here in Canada, if somebody breaks in and tries to rob you, you basically have to serve them tea. There's nothing we can do. Thankfully, they were really nice gentlemen, and they just looked at the collection and left without robbing me, and paid me for Deadpool. So that was really good. Mr. Masashi says, "Do you think you'll stay in Alberta or move back to Ontario when you decide to buy a house?" I would love nothing more to buy another house in Alberta. because I like being near the mountains. My mom and my family and everybody are back in Ontario, so luckily with my job, I'm able to fly a little bit more often, so I can see everybody that way. But I have no desire to live in Ontario. No shade to the majority of you folks, because I know a lot of you live in the States, but I would say Ontario feels the most like a mini United States right now. They're a very stressful place to live for a lot of the citizens in Ontario. It's high pressure, high stress, high dollar amounts for living, really high, difficult wages. But I mean, that's everywhere. That's everywhere. And again, no shade to the States. I don't mean it in a bad way. And more just they're most closely aligned to the ideologies, I would say. Scotland, mate. Yeah. Deadpool talks. I love the Scottish accent. Same with Irish. I do love, my grandma was Irish, so love that one as well. But Ethan says, buy BC. Hey, yeah, hell yeah. Canadian collectors in the chat tonight. You love to see it. Lots of great Grenadians in the chat. That's awesome. Guys, I think, we can probably call it there. I was expecting this to be 15 minutes. Is there anything else you guys wanted to shoot the shit about? I'm down to hang out for 10 more minutes. We got Kilted Corgi. Good to see you. That's a hilarious little picture, by the way, of that corgi with a kilt. I appreciate it. Yeah, well, what else came out last week? Because we missed Let's Get Nuts, or I missed Let's Get Nuts, because I was really freaking hungover and tired from Vegas. Where's my Facebook here? Let's just see quick. Yeah, Mr. Freeze, dude. This thing looked freaking crazy. This thing is crazy. You know what, though? It's interesting. The new Nightwing Robin that goes with the Batman and Robin. I don't like it as much. I like the Throbbing version more. Not for that reason. I just think the likeness on that figure is better. X-Men Supreme says, Ben, how far are you away from Cold Lake? I have no idea. I would have to look. But Cold Lake, I know you're talking about the about X-Men, obviously, very specifically, right? Because if I could get adamantium put into my body, I would 100% do that. It does look painful, but I would try. I have no idea. I'd have to look that up. I don't think it's that far now that you mention it. Where that movie was filmed, I actually think is pretty darn close to here. Daredevil. Yeah, let's talk about that quick. I mean, Daredevil was posted, how many days ago was this now? This was March 4th. So, yeah, I mean, 6 days ago, almost a week ago. And we have not seen an actual pre-order go up for it yet. I'm curious if they're waiting 1 or 2 more episodes. Like, I wonder if there's an accessory that's going to come with this guy that they don't want to show by releasing the figure or putting the figure up for pre-order. Because, in the trailer, obviously, if you haven't watched the episodes, we can keep it spoiler free. But in the trailer, at least for the show, they show different color masks. So Toys actually just did a limited run on their Daredevil suit. That was the one, I can't remember what they called it now. I want to say it was called Shadow Vigilante or something like that. But basically Matt Murdock's look from the first season of Daredevil before he gets the Daredevil look, where he's got the black shirt on and the black mask, and then of course the ropes wrapped around his arms. And I'd missed that figure years ago. And then on the secondary, he was going for pretty wild pricing. And it looks like he's a good figure, but I wouldn't say that he's like a great figure. Like you can tell that it looks its age, I think is the appropriate way to say it. But they, So Toys put up an order for another 200 of them or something like that. I saw it. The Collecting Weekly Boys posted it the other day in our chat, and so I pre-ordered it. I jumped on it right away from, I think it was KG Hobby that I got it, and that's the first time I've ever ordered from KG Hobby. So I will let you guys know my experience there if and when it arrives. But if they did a limited run like that again of that figure, I also wonder if we're going to see another black suited version of that character, but in Hot Toys form. I think that could be pretty cool. Let's see. It's a little north of Edmonton, so close to Calgary for sure. If it's north of Edmonton, then it's about 4 hours away from me, Cold Lake, which would be cool. Slippery Slime, Blitzwade DeLorean going up on the 20th. Ooh, man, that's crazy. For that, power windows, I think is freaking cool. I wonder if they're going to be able to do, is it still going to be acrylic windows? Are they going in on glass now? And at what point does it not make sense price point wise? I don't know, man. It seems like that's wildly freaking priced. We don't know the price yet. I would imagine it's going to be wildly priced in order to justify that level of detail. And to be honest, I said it on one of the live shows last week. I don't even remember what show it was on anymore. That I think, maybe it was even my own show, actually. It might have been Let's Get Nuts. Why didn't they do the version 1? I think that was the one that has the biggest gap, right? For most collectors nowadays, if you started collecting DeLoreans really even within the last 5 years, the Mark 1 DeLorean was certainly the most wildly priced version that existed. And then, I mean, everybody who wanted a Mark II just got one recently, including myself. And it's a great figure, it's a great figure vehicle. So why not the Mark 1? I think that would have had the greatest impact for people. I think otherwise, the tease around Ghostbusters was actually a little bit more exciting. Because the 4-pack, especially of the Ghostbusters figures from Blitzway, the proper ones, not those horrible ones we saw from Star Race. No shade to anybody that got it, but man, they fucking terrible. Yeah, I hate. Oh man, Star Race should be canceled. Star Race should be canceled. The Blitzway tease on those figures, though, is pretty exciting. I am excited to get those if they actually put up the pre-order. But the Ecto 1, I also think people would love to see again. It's just that, again, it would upset the folks who have it, because whoever got it either paid a fortune to begin with or paid an extra fortune to get it on the aftermarket. On the other hand, like I said at the beginning of this stream tonight, it seems like collectibles will always find a way to come back around. So I wouldn't be surprised. But yeah, the DeLorean, you know what? I'm excited to see what it looks like. I'm excited to see how it comes to fruition. But I don't honestly think that I'd buy it. It would have to be... You would have to basically hover in the display to be warranted. And God, I hope I don't have to eat my words. Watch, like, the next figure or next video or like photo preview that they put out is going to be hovering off the table. And it's like, God, Ben, you said you'd get it. Yeah, let's hope not. So, guys, that's it. I'm going to call it. Thanks for hanging out with me tonight. I appreciate it. I'm going to go continue to... I don't know if you guys know this. I have a grandma hobby. I'm a cross stitcher. I make my own artwork, basically, so I can show you guys a little bit. But everything above me here, if you didn't already know, is all cross stitch art that I've made myself. So the colorful Stormtrooper and Grogu and Heath Ledger's Joker. Right now I am working on one that's 2 feet by 2 feet, and it is Link from Zelda Ocarina of Time, the N64 game. Basically the scene where he's walking up to the forest temple for the first time. So if you know, you know, but it's pretty cool. So I'm going to get back to that. But guys, I love you faces. Thank you so much for getting nutty with me. I don't know if we fully decided on that. Anybody who watches now, or if you watch on the replay, tell me what you think these impromptu streams should be called. Because if you like them, I'll do them a few more times in a month, a little bit more often. So Mitchell Lawrence says, the only vehicle I want is Kit from Knight Rider. Hell yeah, definitely. Chill evening, Ethan, thanks for stopping in, buddy. Big Rib, thanks for popping in. X-Men Supreme, Big Rib, Honest Hansel. Won't name everybody, but guys, thanks for being here so much. Again, let me know what the stream should be called, and we'll go from there. Have a great night, everybody, and thanks for watching. Here, I'll play an exit song for us all. Here, let's do this actually first. All right, he's going, and oh no! Oh, it's an upset with the nuts. Truly devastating. Upset. You hate to see it. Have a good night, guys.
Well, what a great audience. Be sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. Because subscribing makes you feel good. Where should I go? What should I do?
Frankly, my dear, I don't give a